touch the skies. Cheltenham town and Forest Green, Gloucester city stands so keen. Talk of the county, loud and clear.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of Talk of the County Podcast, brought to you by Traffic Safety Management Ltd, experts in traffic management. Local depot in Gloucester, but support projects all around the UK. TSM keeps the roads moving safely day and night, offering local operatives a great careers prospects in a socially driven company, as generally looks after its people in its communities they serve. To find out more, visit www.tsmltd.co.uk. Merry Christmas, everybody, and welcome back to another episode. We've got our normal panelists. We've got Sean Baker and Forest Green. Morning, Sean.
Morning, boys.
We've got Chris Howes. Good morning, Chris.
Morning, mate. Tired one this morning, celebrating too much.
Exactly. And Dave's celebrating that much. He's running a little bit late, but he'll be joining us shortly. So let's we'll crack straight on with it. We'll start with Forest Green Rovers. Sean, you travelled. How did you see that game?
Yeah. Wasn't the best of games. To be honest, if I'd been a neutral watching that game, I would have thought Brackley were higher up the table than we were. They just seemed to be more switched on. They had a bit more, they were getting to first and second balls. I don't know what was going on with our lot. There just didn't seem to be any sort of urgency in the game. Carnu and Mendy at centre back were, if we're being honest, a bit of a mess. I find it, for some reason, they just kept standing and watching crosses come into the box. I think there was 2 warning signs before they actually scored, and then when they did score again, it was a cross into the box and just a free header. That must have been the third free header in the first, I don't know how many minutes. I ain't even sure what minute they scored on.
Sean, you mean he didn't keep a clean sheet?
Here we go. Same year.
Well, you can't keep
It's not
one every
2026 yet, boys.
No, it's not true.
You can't keep one every week. But yeah, no, I don't know. Even in midfield and that, we didn't even seem to be challenging for the ball. It was all the players, I don't know what was wrong with them really. They were just second to everything. And you'd probably, I think obviously someone put the stats in the chat. I think they had was it a little bit more possession, and we had a little bit more possession and a few more shots, but nothing ever really came to anything. I think we had like 3 1-on-1s. Again, didn't really make any good effort off of them. Oisted made another good save to keep it 1-0. Otherwise, it could have got embarrassing and gone 2-0. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say.
Yeah, you say that, but it seemed like the first 10 minutes, Sean, that Forest Green Rovers had more of the play in terms of they had a couple of half chances in the first 10 minutes until on the 11th minute, Brackley had a really golden chance and fired wide. And was that the start of the turn in the game? What you're on about?
Yeah. I don't even really remember us having a couple of chances. Maybe we did. All I remember is because obviously ours was right down the other end. I will say the referee was atrocious. I don't know where the hell he got his added on minutes from. There was only 5 added minutes at the end of the game, and it should have been more like 5 days. But even then, I still don't think we would have scored.
Yeah, but Rovers had a chance with Bruce Clark, but a minute later, Brackley took the lead through Michael Nottingham. Obviously, he's well travelled. Michael Nottingham. He's played in the Football League, Blackpool, and Crewe, and I always rated him, but he is 36 now.
Yeah.
I put it down as a great ball into the box, at a good header, but on a Forest Green point of view, you'll be disappointed it come from a free kick.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we had 2 warnings before that goal. 2 balls got put into the box, and Mendy and Carnu, I think they were wearing lead boots. None of them attempted to jump. They just watched the players get a free header. I think one went over the bar, one went just wide. Then we had the one that you're on about, the goal. And Mendy didn't scan over his shoulder or anything. Player just comes running in, jumps up, free header, and all they do is watch it. Obviously, Oystead can't do anything with it, and it's just gone into the far corner. Shouldn't happen. Plus, I think we should have been closing them crosses down quicker.
Yeah,
we knew what they were about.
Well, teams like Brackley, like, you know, we spoke last week about these are the type of grounds you go to, and you can trip up in a title race. You know, I always see your Brackleys, to see back in the day your Guisleys, they're the teams that you go to, and if you slip up, they're the ones that tend to cost you the title race. So to go there and concede in the 11th minute, I think it was the 16th minute, sorry, not 11th, to concede in the 16th minute, you gave yourself a kind of a back to the wall.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, I mean, the team was good enough. I'm not going to make any excuses. The team that went out there, I think Robbie said it, the team was good enough to beat Brackley, but we were missing a couple of players which I think would have made a difference. He played Knowlesy on the left because Gilly was out ill I think he had the flu or something. And Knowlesy just hasn't got a left foot. He He did okay, like, in an attacking sense, but he couldn't. With Gilly, he gets more balls into the box. Knowlesy just, I don't know. Brackley seemed to have an extra man on the pitch, mate. Honestly, like, when we were attacking, they had everyone back and the ball was dropping to them. They would just do a massive lumping clearance. They'd only have one up front, and he'd still manage to get onto it. Like, we had no urgency whatsoever. I mean, I think it was just after the goal I said about Oystead's save. A through ball gets played to their striker. Carnu's just jogging back with it. Him and Mendy were just so casual. I just don't get what was up with them. I hadn't seen them play like that. That was, I would probably say that's probably the worst performance we've had this season.
Yeah, you say that, like I said, you know, we just touched on about these type of grounds, and we were talking about just before we came on that, you know, you get there and the ground's not the best, and there's no disrespect to Brackley, but the ground's not the best, the pitch is not the best. You know, you look what you're used to playing on at the new lawn compared to going to somewhere like Brackley, but teams like Brackley, they know how to play their own ground, don't they?
That was what I did say that to Robbie, because he was saying, well, you know, both teams play on it, and I said they do, but problem is they play on it every week, and it had a massive dip in the middle, like in the one side, sort of went down and then back up. It's probably one of the worst pitches I think I've seen at that level.
They did say
last
week.
Yeah, it is. It's one of the worst pitches I think I've ever seen at that level.
It's
a proper nice old school grind, though. It is a proper nice old school grind. I like that. It was just the pitch was not good.
It's like the Cheltenham Hill. There's a hill at Walton Road, apparently.
Yeah, massive hill at Walton Road, yeah. The thing, yeah. The thing is, you're right. You know, they do play on it, and you know, you can see both sides of the story. Like, you know, it's a football field. You got 11 players, but it's probably one of those grounds you go to. If Forest Green take the lead, they probably go on to win 2-3-1 or something like that. But you go 1-0 down somewhere at Brackley, and then get them on the front foot, and they got something to hold on to. That's I think it's hard.
Also, I do think we were missing a bit of leadership on the pitch. They're like, you know, Jordan Moore-Taylor's out, Ryan Innes is out, even Harvey Bunker was out.
Yeah.
And there didn't seem to be. And the only reason why I say that is obviously Mendes captain. Now, his interview after the game wound me up a little bit because he was very relaxed on the loss. And then he got, obviously, because he's the captain, he turned around and he said, I'm not the sort of captain to talk and shout at people. I prefer to perform on the pitch. Now, to me, why the hell are you captain? I cannot get my head around that.
But sometimes you don't see. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Because sometimes you
To
have.
openly come out and say that you don't talk or shout to people, from like, Robbie and no, I mean, Robbie and no more than I do. He was captain for 4 Premier League clubs, so he obviously sees something. But I would have wanted him to, be shouting at people. I think we really missed Innes.
Yeah,
I love Mendy. He's been brilliant this season. I've said it all season long from the moment I seen him at Slimbridge. I'd really like to see him get back into midfield. Innes at the back with Carnu, so we've got a bit of height, a bit of aggression, a bit of leadership. I think that's one of our big things.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Again, it's one of those places you go to, you want to Ryan Innes, don't you? Because you know the ball's going to be lumped into your box. And
yeah, that game would have suited Innes perfectly.
Yeah, and like you say about the captain thing. You see a lot of clubs, don't you? A lot of clubs will have a team captain, then they'll have a captain, and your captain, you want a Roy Keane. A team captain, maybe somebody like Mendy, like said, he's someone who knits everybody together, is probably really friendly with people. But yeah, on a pitch, you want someone like a Roy Keane, like a Robbie Savage. People who are getting to their players, and just because you're being yelled at on a pitch doesn't mean that you're being a hole.
Yeah, I just think sometimes you just got to try and just shout at players and pull players in and get them. I just thought our decision making wasn't great either. Even when we were taking free kicks, I mean, late on in the game, I think Robbie said it. We should be pulling Oisted up and getting him to lump it into the box. Yeah, and everyone should be getting in there. And we didn't even do that.
Yeah, you say that. So on you say about Harry Oisted on the 21st minute, he saves a 1-on-1. If that had gone in, that would have been pretty much game over.
Well, to be fair, yeah, I mean, Oisted, I talk about him every week. He's been brilliant since coming in for us, and to be honest, he saved us a fair bit as well. I felt a little bit sorry for him on Boxing Day. Mendy and Carnu were just all over the place, and goalkeepers, when you haven't got, when the back four are a bit of a mess like that, I just think it's incredibly hard for him. He had the sun in his eyes as well in the first half, but he done really well. I think he was the only player that come out of there. Obviously, I think when FGR done a man of the match on X, for me, I said the only person you could really say was Harry Oisted. I wouldn't have gave it to any other right field player. I think Babiola, or however you say it, he came into it. He started off a little bit slow, I think, but he did, hold the ball up, but we just had nothing really going forward. I mean, like I said earlier, Robbie tried. Every change he made was an attacking change. He didn't bring on anyone defensively. So he was trying to go for it. But even then, he brought Doige on, basically missed a 1-on-1. I think Horton missed a 1-on-1. He just P-rolled it into the keeper. Bamber, I thought, did okay when he came on, actually. He wasn't too bad. But again, I don't know. Yeah, we just weren't at it. To be fair, Brackley deserved it.
Yeah, just before half time, Knowles is booked for a dive, Sean, like Robbie said in his post match.
Yeah.
Third penalty. Did you think it was a penalty?
To be honest, we could not see it at all because we was right up the other end. I did try and get my phone out and have a quick look on the TV angle. Again, from the TV angle, I thought it would have been soft. It didn't look like there was that much. But then obviously, like I said, when I spoke to Robbie and I spoke to somebody else who seen it on the TV, they both said it was a stonewaller, and there was contact. So, again, I'd probably trust their judgment over mine. Because like I said, I didn't see it clearly. But if there was contact, I don't think there was a lot.
Yeah, you could, like I said, we would get on to Robbie's thoughts, but
the referee was poor. I mean, they were time wasting from I don't know, from when they scored the goal, which, what did you say it was, the 11th or 15th minute?
15th minute, yeah.
Yeah, they were time wasting from then, really. As soon as that goal went in, They had players lying down on the floor constantly. The keeper was, taking sort of the maximum 8 to 10 seconds with the ball. The referee wasn't really dealing with that. Eventually, he did book him. Like I said, second half was terrible. We made a lot of subs. They made a few subs, and they added 5 minutes on. And I didn't sometimes you just got to go with that. I mean, that's not the reason why we lost. It was ourselves. Like, we weren't at it. We just weren't at it.
Yeah. You say that just before we go on to the second half, instead pulled off a worldie just on the stroke of half time, didn't he? That could have been, with the chances they'd had, it could have been easily 3-0 at half time.
Yeah. Like I said, Oysted's been brilliant, mate. I speak about him every week, and he, I think we're lucky that we've got him in because, again, Luke McNicholas is injured. I'm assuming he's been injured in training, so he's out for like 6 weeks again. Obviously, Oysted, he's come in, not put a foot wrong. He's done really well. So yeah, I think we're just lucky to have him, really.
Yeah. He seems to be playing really well for you. And like I said, if he's keeping McNicholas out, tells you how well he is playing. Into the second half, first 50, it seemed like, Robbie made a couple of changes. I know one was forced because I think it was Clark who was ill. But the first 15 minutes of the second half, it seemed like Brackley were on the front foot.
Yeah. The second half, I thought we may up it a little bit. Didn't. Obviously, Maka went off injured, so it looks like he's out now for a bit. But yeah, I mean, every change he made was positive, but we had the same outcome on the pitch. Just wasn't at it. Just wasn't good enough.
Yeah, it took to based on what I've gone on, it took to the 62nd minute for Rovers to have their first real chance, which fell to Hornton, and their keeper had to make his first save of the game. For the quality.
Was that the one-on-one?
I think it was put just inside the box. It might have been one-on-one. I've not seen the replay; just gone by the match report. But speaking to Robbie, like you said, there was listening to Robbie's interview, like you said about 3 1-on-1s that Rovers had. I don't think they was clear cut, was they? But they did, bad footy.
Yeah, Horton was clean. Like, I'm sure when he took his shot, he was clean through, and he just literally scuffed it, and it just wobbled into the keeper. Doidge had just come on, got played through. Obviously, he hasn't quite got the pace to pull away from the defender, so he had to try and take it early. But as he went to take it, he sort of slipped, I think. And again, it was just a team sort of effort into the keeper. That pretty much summed up our day.
Yeah, you say about the subs, it was all positive. In the end, you ended up with 3 up front. You put Doidge on, and Doidge probably, again, had a chance literally to level within minutes to come on, and the keeper had to pull off another save.
Yeah, I think that's the one that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He obviously had Cairo Mitchell on, Doidge, Babiola, and then he obviously ended up bringing on Bamber as well. So yeah, every change was attacking, but we just couldn't do it. Like I said, Brackley, they done their job well, to be fair. They frustrated us. They defended well. And even when they went forward, like I said, they were holding one man up and he was just getting onto the ball every time it got cleared. Just felt like they had another man on the pitch.
Yeah. Obviously, Brackley done what we knew. Well, I think everybody knew what Brackley were going to do once they won it up. They seen the game out well. But a disappointing day for Rovers, Sean, especially with Carlisle, Rochdale, Scunthorpe and Bournemouth winning. And there must have been even more of a dagger when you seen it York with 10 men equalising in the 96th minute.
Well, yeah, for me, that game, I said it, I was quite vocal about it. I said it on Twitter. We had to win it, really, because Carlisle had Gateshead. Rochdale, I think it was, had Morecambe. The only one that surprised me was York drawing with Boston. But it don't really help us.
No, let's go on to Robert's thoughts. he congratulated Brackley, said they wanted it more part-time team. I think this is more, in a way, not without. I don't think it was being disrespectful to Brackley, but I think it was more a dig at his own team when he went. When he congratulated him, he said they're a part-time team but showed more desire. I think it was more. He said they train twice a week. I think he was like saying, like, we train every day. We're a professional outfit, and you've got a part-time team wanting it more than and showing more fitness maybe than what Forest Green did. What did you think of those comments?
Yeah, I agree with what you've just said, really. I don't think he means it disrespectfully. But Robbie, since he's come in, has been really hot on he wants to be the fittest team in the league. He likes his high intensity. He's that's what he thrives off. That's what his team's about. Obviously, they didn't show any of that. Brackley, to be fair to him, every time we did get the ball, they did close us down. You know what I mean? There was 2 or 3 of them closing us down. So I think, his point is, they're part-time and they've just showed more effort and whatever than what we have. And that's probably what he was more fuming about. Nobody minds losing a game. I know, he won't mind losing a game, but there's a way to lose it. And on Boxing Day, that wasn't it.
No, exactly that. I think Rob has been quite honest in the past when, like I said, when you lost to Rochdale, he was very open and said he got it wrong. He said maybe he got it wrong yesterday. He said maybe he should have had the players in Christmas Day. He said he wanted the players to spend time with their family. But putting in a performance like that makes him question whether he should have brought the players in Christmas Day. Do you think it would have made any difference if he brought them in?
No, not at all. I don't think whether you train on Christmas Day or not, there ain't no excuse to not do that. If you get the day off on Christmas Day, you spend it with your family, surely you go into that thinking, right, we're going to run through brick walls now, and they should be fresh. I've said it. I don't think training on Christmas Day would have made a difference, but we never know, I guess.
Yeah.
Did Steve Cottrell or anyone get the players in on Christmas Day?
No, Cheltenham had
Cheltenham had it off.
Had the day off.
There you go.
Steve must be going.
And you still won. So I think there's
Sean, do you think, and I'm just throwing this out there, do you think the performance could be a byproduct of the way that Robbie wants to play, as in it's really high intensity, and often you see teams in second half of the season that play that way drop off a bit in terms of the level of intensity, etc. Could it be that they're just a bit tired?
Not too sure. I don't think so. I know what you're saying, but we've got a good sized squad to cope with that, and he makes the changes to.
They're pretty young as well, aren't they? So you wouldn't expect it as much from a young player.
I guess we'll find out now, won't we? Really, over the next sort of few games.
Well, that's a good question by Chris, because it kind of coincides with the one of the questions I had for you, Sean. So I remember when we interviewed Robbie earlier on in the season, I asked him a question about after the Carlisle game, and I said that, do you think that when you come up maybe against your Brackleys and all that maybe the young exciting players you've got might need somebody else with the know-how? And Robbie did come back with a fair comment. He said, he had 2 or 3 experienced players out on the pitch who probably made a mistake that day. But do you think you kind of touched on it at the beginning of this chat? Do you think it's something Forest Green might need to get over the line? Is that bit of know-how?
Maybe. I think we've got, like, obviously I said about the leadership in the squad. I think we've got that within the squad, but at the moment, obviously all the players have been unavailable, really, haven't they, through like injury or whatever else. For me, I would like to see Innes come back into the team. And I think we have missed him. I'd like to see Mendy push back into the middle. I think we missed Bunker. Obviously, he was serving a ban from his red card at Yeovil. I think we missed Gilly as well, just his pace and trickery down the one side. And he just flashes balls across the box.
Sean, I'm just going to say it's dangerous talking about red cards this morning.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know really. I think it could be that know-how, but you know, Robbie has said that he's looking at a couple of players, so let's just wait and see who he brings in.
Like I said, you have got him now. Just sometimes we've all said it as fans. You know, I've been watching Cheltenham for over 20 years, and there's been plenty of times over those years.
So I think when you
when you talk about not looking old enough, Dave, Sean definitely looks old enough to have been following Forest Green for 20 years. And on that note, I just want to say happy birthday, mate.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah, sorry, Sean. No, you know, watching over 20 years, there's times you sit there and you go, "Oh, we could do with that leader at the back." Or
thing is, last season, obviously with Steve Cottrell, we had players like Ben Tozer, Liam Sercombe, obviously, like, you know, Sean Long. They'd all been there, you know, in these things with Cheltenham. Obviously, we tailed off in the second half of the season. It's a tough one, really, isn't it? Like you do need it somewhat, but I also think you need the energy. The young, you know, like youngsters can go on and win things. I think that's been proven over the years. But
famous saying in 1986.
I do think there was a bit of. I don't think the balance was quite right on Boxing Day.
Yeah,
I think that's probably the best way of saying it.
I'm not questioning Forest Green's side or their mentality or anything. It just, you know, sometimes you ask that question is, you know, do we need a leader? And like, no disrespect to Ben Tozer, because I absolutely loved him. He was brilliant at Cheltenham, as was Sercombe, but maybe they were the latter stage of their career. You know, do Forest Green need a 26-year-old, you know, powerhouse in midfield or somebody to, you know, like to drag the team through in games like that? I'm not saying that this person starts every game, but do you look at when you go away to Brackley, when you go away to Truro, you know, where you're going to have to dig in and grind the result, which you've done really well in Yeovil.
I think then that'd take me back to Bunker. Obviously, he was serving a ban, and I think Bunker would have made a big difference in that game. He may have been, you know, midfield might have been a bit more stable there. He's been through it all as well. So,
but I'm pretty sure.
I got no issues with the team. Obviously, like I said, the team was good enough. I think there was a bit of imbalance in that team on Boxing Day, and again, I don't think that was the team kind of picked itself as well. So I wouldn't criticize Robbie over that because through the injuries and the suspension.
Yeah, no, there's no criticism, and I'm pretty sure if Robbie was sat here now, he'd probably come back at me and say, to be fair, Dan, you know, does experience put the ball in the back of the net, and that's what he's always saying is, you know, the
well, a big one there would be Deutsch. Obviously, he's vastly experienced, been there, done it. Obviously, he's not really played. I'm not sure how fit he is. Obviously, the last time when I spoke to Robbie about him, he said he only had like 60 minutes in, but then he's sort of been in and out of the squad. He's not really played. But then he come on and, yeah, I mean, he fluffed his chance. But then, you know, he could be a bit rusty from not playing. Yeah. There's loads of questions, and now we could sit there, we could dissect it all day. I just think it's one of them. It's better to be forgotten about and moved on. And we just got to try and.
We're talking about moving on, and the one comment which I think will probably have had a lot of Forest Green fans talking, he said, being honest, winning the league looks very unlikely. Was you surprised to hear that from Robbie, especially this with so much football to play? Which I think is more of a mind game.
I don't know really. The thing with Robbie is he's very emotional after games.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've got to do their press and all that. I mean, maybe if you speak to him, I don't know, tomorrow before our next, like the day before our next game, he might have calmed down and changed his opinion on that. I still think there's a lot of football to play. I do. Is the league still a possibility? It's not looking likely. Rochdale just don't seem to be slowing up. It's obviously not in our hands at all. And I think that you'd be relying on too many teams to drop points. because
Yeah.
you're not just relying on Rochdale to drop points. You're relying on Borehamwood. You're relying on York to slow up a little bit, even Carlisle. So it's not looking likely, but all you can do is just win your games. We still got all the top teams still got to play each other, so there's points. There's probably still twists and turns yet. But all we can do really is just, like they always say on the Premier League, they always say it. Just focus on the next game. Just focus on the next game. Just do it bit game by game. Just see where it takes you.
No, exactly. Like I said, it was surprising to hear it. And I just wondered whether it was Robbie maybe trying to take the pressure off the players, going, look, the league, for us to win the league, you need Rochdale to lose probably 2 of those 3 games in hand. You need York, Borehamwood, and Carlisle, Scunthorpe, all to have a drop off. I know the latter 2 are below you. But you need them to have. So maybe he's just trying to take the pressure now off the players.
Yeah, it could be. Like I said, it could be somewhat as simple as just trying to take the pressure off the team. Like I said, he's quite an emotional manager. He sort of says things as it is, and he sort of says how he feels sometimes. So, like I said, interviewing him straight after a game is probably hard.
Yeah, because he's obviously hurting, isn't he?
Yeah, and he was honestly, he was tamping. He come straight over to the away fans. He was apologising. He was. You could just tell he was just fuming, and then even in his interview, I think he said, I don't know if you watched it all, but they were doing their cool down, and he said if they'd ran like that in the game, it probably would have been a different result. So, like I said, he just, he could have been. I don't know, but I guess it is surprising to hear a manager say that, because whilst it's always mathematically possible, they always go, we're not out of it yet, but it's tough. You've heard it in the Premier League, so it doesn't surprise me. He's, he knows what he's doing and what he's saying. But I think he's just being honest. I think he's just being honest and saying it is going to be tough now.
Yeah. And to be fair, on the outside, some people might get a bit like, oh, why is he saying that? But on the outside, I think everybody's probably looking and going, like I said, unless Rochdale lose 2 of those 3 games in hand, everybody's probably, because if Rochdale win those 3 games in hand, then that's 12 points. So yeah, you're only saying what everybody else is thinking. But as you said, Sean, you probably, if you beat Truro on Tuesday after the game and a couple of results go your way again, you might be a bit different in how he comes across, and you might say we're back in the title race.
Yeah, well, hopefully, like Truro, hopefully the players have had a rocket up their ass. Excuse my French.
You said worse.
And they're up for it. Truro won on Boxing Day against Yeovil.
They did go Yeovil 1-0, yeah. But they seem to pick a lot of their points up at home, Truro, don't they? Don't seem to pick a lot up away.
No. So, we still got to play Truro twice. So,
you got a lucky one.
Like you said, is just wait and see where it takes us.
Yeah, you got a lucky one there with Truro away. It's bank holiday, isn't it? You got a bank holiday one.
Yeah, I think we've booked a caravan for the weekend. I think a few people have, so it should be a good weekend, really.
Yeah, definitely. And just to finish off on a couple of things he said, he did apologise to the fans. Says it definitely was a penalty, Stonewall. But finally, Sean, the disappointing thing of the day, apart from the result, is the fact that McAllister looks like he's going to be out for 4 weeks. That's going to be a big blow, isn't it?
Yeah. Obviously, I thought it was weird when he was getting taken off, but then as soon as he got to the dugout, Robbie had come over to him, and he sort of pointed down at his leg. And I said to whoever was stood next to me, I said, "Oh, he looks like he's injured." And then as soon as he come out in the thing, he said he's out for about 4 weeks. I spoke to him. He said about 4 to 6 weeks. So yeah, it's a bit of a blow, really.
And just
we have got the players and that there. What I'm interested to know is if Sean Etaluku's like to be back. He had a setback and an injury since he's come in. He's obviously not really been available.
He's not since that FA Cup game, is he?
And obviously he's going to be like Gilly Bayabu, but on the opposite side, predominantly left-footed. So I think he could have helped out if he was available, for that game yesterday. I think we needed a natural left-footer on that side. Like I know I alluded to it earlier. Knowlesy, he didn't have I don't want to say he was terrible, but he just ain't got a left foot, and you could see that.
Yeah. So just to finish, Sean, on yourself, What do you think Forest Green Rovers need in the January transfer window?
A striker and a centre back. I'd like a more of a fox in the box. I've been quite open about that. We need like a fox in the box, someone who can just poke the ball in the net when it ricochets around or when it drops to them and they get a chance and just score. But I'd also like to see another centre back come in. I want to see Mendy back in the middle. I know Robbie says he's started off as a defender and he's quite defensive minded. But I think his best performances have come in the middle. And because we're short at the back, he's been dropped to the back. So yeah, I'd like to see a centre back and a striker.
Well, watch his space. I think it probably will be a busy one come January, and we've got a couple of games before then anyway. So things might change, mate.
Hopefully.
Right, thanks, Sean. Thanks for that. Before we go on to Cheltenham, we're going to go to Chris Howes for Around the Grounds, which I forgot to go to at the beginning. So, Chris, over to you.
We are going to talk of the counties around the grounds by Chris Howes.
Yeah, cheers, Dan. Let's go around the ground. Sponsored by BAM Recruitment. They find better matches than most managers in a January transfer window. Whether it's temporary or permanent, they put the right people in the right positions. Engineering, construction, and operational. No VAR needed. Check them out below. We start with the ladies, who are still on winter break, but back in action next week. Cheltenham welcome Real Bedford to Kate Lane. Forest Green travel to Pucklechurch Sports next Sunday, while Gloucester City don't play until the 11th. In the Southern League Division 1 South, it was the big county derby, where Hartbury welcomed Bishop's Cleeve to Hartbury Stadium, where goals from Noah Coates, Spencer Hamilton and Lewis Manning secured a 3-0 win for Hartbury. On Saturday, Bishop's Cleeve are at home to Sporting Club Inkbarrow, and Hartbury are away at Malvern Town. On to the Hellenic Premier League, Premier Division clubs, where yesterday Cirencester lost 2-1 at home to Royal Wootton Bassett. Fairford also lost at home to Corsham Town, this one 1-0. Mangotsfield were away at Hallen, where it finished 1-1. Cinderford were also away, where they won 2-0 against Thornbury Town. And finally, two county derbies, which saw high-flying Slimbridge at home to a resurgent Lydney Town, where the teams played out a 0-0 draw. And Tuffley hosted Long Levens, where Sam Kelly gave Tuffley the lead with a goal straight from a corner. Finley Gwilym equalised for Long Levens from the penalty spot 4 minutes into the second half. And Brad Martin fired Long Levens into the lead in the 59th minute. And despite Tuffley's efforts, it was enough to give Long Levens a 2-1 win. It's the roundup from around the grounds. Back over to you, Dan.
Thanks, Chris. So let's move on to Cheltenham Town. Chris, how did you see the game?
Well, winning on Boxing Day isn't for everyone, is it, Dan?
Or the day after.
Or the day after, yeah.
Yeah, how did you see the game, Chris?
Comfortable, to be quite honest. Shrewsbury looked a poor side. Among the worst, I'd say they're top 3 worst teams I've seen play this season, based on that performance. They're in for a struggle if they're going to pick up results playing the way they played, in my opinion. We were thoroughly professional, and the day off on Christmas Day obviously fired the lads up to get those 3 points for Cots.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I tell you what, let's listen to Pete Matthews and see if you agree with what Pete has seen on the game and January going forward.
So another positive reflection on another positive performance. Family duties meant I couldn't go Boxing Day, but I was able to listen to some of the game on BBC Radio Gloucestershire and then see the second half on Sky. My reflection, and having spoken to people who were there, Cheltenham were pretty dominant. The 2 goals they scored in the first half were both good. Thomas, who's getting better with each game, good to see him playing down the left where he can get to the byline and pull the ball back. He did well for that first goal. And then Adelican, who scored the first goal with a lovely weighted ball, almost casual in its execution, to put Bickerstaff away. Good to see Bickerstaff score his second goal in 3 games. Was it a penalty? Yep, I think so. To be quite honest, having had the benefit of TV replays, Jude Boyd did well for that. Hutchinson just got his penalty in, and then Cheltenham saw the game out, although I think Steve Cottrell will be disappointed that probably the last quarter of the game belonged to Shrewsbury. So the big question now is really January. Can Cheltenham keep 2 players who are absolutely at the beating heartbeat of this Robins revival, Isaac Hutchinson and Hakeem Adelican? Both are tricky, I think. Hutchinson, of course, can be recalled by Bristol Rovers. If Bristol Rovers call him back, the player may not want to go, but contractually there's not a lot you can do about it. Adelican, I think, will have other suitors. He's got a great relationship with Steve Cottrell, which helps, but will it be enough to keep him there? It will then be down to Russell Milton, Steve Cottrell, Keith Burt and Rob Edwards to try and find players who can replace Hutchinson and Adelican if they do go. I hope they don't, but I'm sure there will be plans if they do. Onwards and upwards, the revival is quite simply extraordinary.
Agree with that, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, but I would add another player into the we must keep, and that's Jordan Thomas.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I tell you, we'll go for the game. I've got these questions down about these players. We'll have a chat at the end about them. So into the game, 8 minutes in, Robin started on the front foot. Hutchinson could have scored quite early on. Eddie at the back post. Did you think he should have done better, or do you think I'm being a bit harsh?
Probably being a bit harsh, to be honest with you, but I mean, look, it's a chance, and that's the thing with Hutchinson. Now we kind of expect him to score at every opportunity that he's got. It was a tough chance, but yeah, it was a good start.
Yeah, and it was even better on the 14th minute. Cheltenham take the lead. Hakeem Adelican gets 2-2. Great ball in from Tom. The ball from Thomas was sublime. It was one of those ones where defenders hate it, don't they? Across the 6-yard box, and he still had quite a bit to do to put it in.
Yeah, it was a tight angle again, but you know, his first goal for us was from a tight angle as well. And him coming in at the back post has worked twice now. But you're right, that ball from Thomas is absolutely incredible. If a defender sticks his leg out, it's an own goal. If the keeper tries to save it, it's getting pushed straight out into the middle of the goal. It's one of those balls that is an absolute nightmare. And yeah, but Hacks did well to get it in from what was a tight angle, and he made it look comfortable actually.
Yeah. Like I said, from my view, I was surprised to see it hit the net. I thought he was just going to put it back across goal, but watching it back, really good finish. Adelican, especially in that first half, and we'll get on to the goal in a minute, but he was having the freedom of Walton Road in that first 20 minutes. He was literally tearing him, wasn't he?
It's his movement, mate. His movement was incredible. Just finding space. But yeah, he was very, very good. First half in particular, as you say.
Yeah, and then obviously on to the second goal. He was heavily involved in that. The ball gets played to him just inside the centre circle, and the little dink over the top for Bickerstaff to run onto. And when you watch the goal back, Bickerstaff still had a lot to do to cushion that header down.
It's a really good finish as well. The great first touch and a really good finish. But what I will say is the whole move was brilliant. Even before it got to Adelican, the move itself as a team move, it was a great move. Little ball into Adelican, and Pete's right. It was he made that pass look so easy. And he was so calm and composed about that pass, but it was a beautiful pass. Bickerstaff still had loads to do, especially the first touch. He had to get that right. If he doesn't get the first touch right, he doesn't score. And the finish was also excellent because he had to get it over the keeper. It was about there, and it was a great finish.
Yeah, I don't think he could cushion that header any better.
No, it was excellent.
Just a smidge more on it. He's running through.
I think 3 weeks ago he gets that wrong, by the way.
Yeah.
But the confidence that he will have got from that first goal, I think that's played a big part.
Well, it's the same as Adelican. Adelican said after Barrow, because I've been wanting that goal. He's got it. He's gone and scored again.
Pressure's off now, isn't it? He's I was a striker in my playing days, and when you don't score, it becomes harder to score. But when you finally get that goal, it's like freedom. You just play your natural game after that.
And that's what it's done for him, because he scored against Harrogate, he hit the bar against Barrow, and he scored again yesterday. And the finish yesterday was absolutely brilliant. To be fair, he could have had 4, could have had 3 goals so far, because let's not forget the Tranmere and Thomas pinched one on the line. But
yeah,
but yeah, he's really
Thomas
good.
Definitely nicked that one. I said that one at the time.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, and it's pleasing because a lot of people don't see what he does in a game, because he's a striker. Everybody just judges him on, he hasn't scored, but his work rate.
Yeah, and Kotz has said it as well. Bickerstaff, he's been pivotal to the way Cheltenham play, and it's exactly that. It's his work rate up top.
Yeah, and to add goals to it, I don't, I think you look at what we'll get on to January in a mo, but you look at things and you're thinking we need a striker. We do need a striker. I keep saying we need a Babalola, like Forest Green, a big awkward striker who can hold the ball up. But I think he's.
I've heard on the grapevine we want someone with pace, power, and someone that can break the lines.
Yeah, that's been the case since I think August. But he's sort of like putting his little flag up and saying, "Don't forget about me," so which is always good. So we had one more chance before halftime. Again, Hutchison tried to find the corner. The ball comes across the face of goal, gets out to the D. He hits it, and it's one of those ones where 9 times out of 10 it just nestles in that bottom goal, but the keeper comfortably saves. But I just don't think Hutchison caught it as well. But very, very, very impressive first half, Chris.
Oh yeah, utterly dominant. It was the word I used in our group chat was comfortable, because it was easy.
Yeah, it was, and I
don't mean to sound disrespectful towards Shrewsbury, but it was easy.
No, I agree. I said at half time, I seen I can't remember his name now. He does EFL talk.
Gab Sutton.
Gab Sutton. Sorry, Gab. I got speaking to Gab at half time, and even Gab said exactly the same to me. He was like, Shrewsbury are poor. It's weird with a good team, good players. They're very individual. You look at some of their players on that team sheet. Really, really good players, but they looked disjointed, poor with it again. They look like Cheltenham back in August, and they're carrying it from August through, kind of thing. Into the second half, 53 minutes on the clock. Cheltenham get a penalty. Arkad Duke Boyd down the right. Will Boyle tries to keep up with him, but falls. And as he falls, his shoulder takes his legs down. Cert penalty. And not the best finish by Hutchinson, but it hit the net.
Ball at the back of the net, that's all that matters.
But, for Hutchinson to, it's 8 goals now.
That's double figures for the season, isn't it? Now,
yeah, because he scored 2 for Rovers as well.
Yeah.
That's 10 goals this season he scored. He's got 3 assists for us. Rovers fans are really wanting to call him back. He said again after the game in his press conference, he's making it clear he does not want to go back to Bristol Rovers. He wants to stay at Cheltenham for the rest of the season. Without touching on it too much, because we did talk about it last week, but it's that conversation won't go away. Will it? Won't it? If that player Chris is saying I don't want to go back, and he's now publicly come out in his press conference and said I don't want to go back. What will Bristol Rovers do? Do you think they'll push for Cheltenham to say, well, if you want to keep him, you buy him?
You've got to buy him. It could be that, but if he goes back to Bristol Rovers, they're going to have an unhappy player on their hands. It's as simple as that. Because he quite clearly doesn't want to be there. And I've touched upon it. You've touched upon it. We wouldn't want to be there after what him and his family went through.
Yeah.
So it's, for me, the only option Rovers have got is really sell him.
Yeah.
And if he's sold, we've just got to hope we're the ones that get him.
What sort of fee would he command, do you think?
I reckon 250.
I reckon you're looking at about 200,000. Exactly, because it's like Pete just touched on there, and I agree with what Pete says. Like, Cheltenham will have a backup plan there. We'll have players they're looking at, and again, we'll get on to Kott's thoughts. But the one thing Kotz did say was, I don't want to break this team up now. Where you go back about 10 weeks ago, there was talk about 6, 7 in and 7 players going out, 6, 7 as Dave just done. But now he's saying now he's saying it's about keeping this team together, and if we do lose Hutchinson, I think we can afford to lose Hutchinson and keep a Delican, or you lose a Delican and you keep Hutchinson. I think Cheltenham can afford to lose that.
On that, sorry to interrupt.
Well, mate,
before I forget, obviously what he's said about not breaking a team up, and obviously what you've just said there, but you potentially could lose 3 players not by choice.
Well,
if he gets recalled, Archer's going back, and Adelica might have other options elsewhere. So then you could lose 3 of probably what you would say is what your 3 stronger.
They're big. They're big. They're all big players. Yeah.
Yeah. Just to counter
where do you think you go then?
Well, to counter that, I think if you look at Archer, the last few games, Archer hasn't started. So he's been taking out the team because I think Steve Kott's was looking at him going, you're going back to Luton, so we have to plan without you. I think Delican, only over the last few games, has started because he's got up to speed. That's why I say we can lose one, but we can't lose both. We can't lose Hutchinson and Delican unless we've got players lined up who, is equally as good. But
I think a winger is in the offing anyway, regardless.
Yeah. Like I said,
but we'll move on to that.
Yeah, let's go on to the second half, and then we'll have a good discussion about it, because you're right, Sean. What you're saying is, we don't want to break the side up, but it could be detrimental for the players we're going to lose. But we'll touch on that in a sec. So that was his 8th goal of the season. That took us through to half. Obviously, was into the second half. Sorry, we're already in the second half. 63 minutes. Former Cheltenham Town loanee John Marquez gets a goal back for Shrewsbury, a free kick in. It was actually well saved by Day, because it takes a deflection. He's going one way, and it's one of those ones where he flies back the other way. But the disappointing thing will be, Chris, was that we talk about the second phase of Forest Green, the second phase of ball.
Yeah, it was the reaction. We were just a little bit slow on the reaction, and it was, let's be honest, it was an easy finish.
Yeah. And then second half, later in the second half, short time after that, to be fair, Hutchinson and Thomas link up really well. And the keeper says, I thought Thomas was outstanding.
Me too. He was by far and away the man of the match. Regardless of Delican getting a goal and an assist, Jordan Thomas was the best player on that pitch.
I think it was A to B man of Delican. I thought Delican would have got it, because I thought the first half he absolutely ran the show. But there was a couple of times in the second half where there was diagonals played, and
him and Thomas have started linking up really well. Really well. And they play on opposite flanks. You don't often see that in the opposite flank wingers link up really well, but they do.
But it was his ball what come across, and I don't know if anybody's seen it, but again, if this was Super Sunday and it was a Premier League player, they would talk about it all through the post-match. His ball comes, he takes it on his chest, his balance to just turn and change direction and go was outstanding. And this is...
There was a couple of moments in the game where Jordan Thomas's control was absolutely sublime. And that's not something I expect from Jordan Thomas, and that's no disrespect to him. I don't expect his control to be on point every time. But there were a few occasions where it was just breathtaking, his control.
Yeah, no, it was outstanding. There was times you could hear the crowd go, "Wow," kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was sort of like it was a kind of like a showboat. He wasn't showboating; it was just absolute pinpoint control.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. Arcad Jude Boyd had a great effort from the edge of the area. I thought he played really well yesterday, Chris, on Boxing Day, Chris.
Yeah, no, he had a good game. It was a decent chance, but one you'd be disappointed if you're the keeper if that goes in. But yeah, he had a good game.
Yeah, and then our final chance of the game for Cheltenham come to Archer. He'd come on a sub. Rocket of a shot. It takes that looping deflection. It beat the keeper. And obviously, I'm sat up in the main stand, so I'm looking down on it. And I thought, let's go in, and it bounces wide. And
Don't remember that.
It was literally in about the 90th minute.
Okay.
And
I don't remember that, but yeah, look, Archer, he's done well when he's come off the bench in his last few games. So yeah, all credit to him. But yeah, we've only got him for one more game, so
yeah. And then in the 94th minute, Shrewsbury get a goal. But it was offside. I've seen it back. It was definitely.
I was going to say, did they?
94th minute, yeah, it was flagged for offside, but he was about 2 yards offside.
Yeah, he was miles off. Absolutely.
I was celebrating
country mile off
offside because I got 3-1 in the predictor. I was getting.
But again, if he was onside, that would have been left a nervy 2 minutes, and that would have been a total Cheltenham thing to do, dominate.
Yeah, that was the Cheltenham thing to do, was concede with a couple of minutes left and be backs to the walls. But no, he was miles off.
No clean
although
sheet,
he does run back in, but he is an absolute country mile offside.
He missed
that. No clean sheet.
You what, mate?
No clean sheet.
No, not this time.
Not another one.
It's unusual for us not to get a clean sheet, but yeah, no, it's you got to concede sometime, aren't you, Sean?
Yeah, every now and again, it's a rarity.
But seeing the game out, like, as you said, a thoroughly, professional performance. 10 points from the drop now, and 11 points from the playoffs. Can we start to look up?
Oh, yeah, I'm not looking down anymore. I think now we've got that buffer. If we lose 3 or 4 games on the spin, then we're back in trouble. But no, I said it last week. We'll finish above where we finished last year.
Yeah, I've said it. I don't think we'll get the playoffs. I think there's a lot of good teams up there, and again, like you said, we need to lose 4, and the teams below us win 4. It's the same with us. We need to keep winning. I know the teams at the top, but we are.
Well, I mean, what I will say is, since Cots has come in, we are playoff form.
Oh, we're third. We're third in the table.
We're third in the table since Cots come in, which is incredible considering we were, I think, 23rd before he came in.
When he came in, Cheltenham they did rock bottom. We was on 4 points.
Oh, there you go.
4 points, minus 24 goal difference. And since he's come in, we've now picked up 23 points from 12 games. We obviously
5 clean sheets in the last 10.
I've got that 5 clean sheets. I've got the fact that we're now nowhere near the worst goal difference in the league.
No.
He's done a remarkable job.
We're not the lowest scorers either anymore.
No, and that's the thing we said last week. We're starting to, even on the stats point of things, we're starting to have like 11, 12 shots a game, where it was 3 shots. We're getting up into like the 12s, the 15s, the 16s.
Yeah,
but it's showing because we're starting to score goals now, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, we're such a better team than we were with largely the same players.
Yeah. Let's go on to Cott's thoughts. And we've said not looking to make many changes as some thinks. He says he needs to be careful not to break the team up, having turned it around in the form we've hit. He wasn't keen to talk about Adelican, which is the last Cots anyway. He keeps his cards close to his chest. There will be the question what was asked. I think Mark Halliwell asked him. It was Mark Halliwell. John Palmer asked him, "Have you had conversations with Adelican?" And he said no. But I think there will be conversations going. But
I think next week that'll happen.
Yeah, and to be fair, maybe he hasn't had those conversations, and maybe that Steve Cottrell's going, I don't want to have that conversation, because if I start talking to him and he starts telling me that I'm going to keep my options open, that puts you in a position where you're going, well, do I want to be playing you for you to just put yourself in a window for somebody else? So maybe it hasn't happened, but I would say that there's conversations with his agent happening. So like I say, he was very, very scarce on that. Hinted that, that's why I wanted to go back to Sean, what you were saying. He hinted about Archer. I think he said Archer will go back to Luton, but maybe it was something that later in the window there's an option. I think this is what I think, and the guy, would be interesting to get your guys.
I took it as he was hoping to get another deal to get him back for the rest of the season.
Yeah. So
I only saw John Palmer's little clip, but
yeah, I think that's what I was going to say. I think this is what's going to happen. I think Archer goes back on the 1st. I think he goes back, meets Luton, meets his teammates, meets the manager, and then I think Luton are probably giving Cheltenham the noise then coming out of Luton is let's have him for January. You have him back at the end of January to the end of the season, where we'll then have him for next season. But kind of they want him back just to look at him, kind of thing. That's what I'm getting. That's why I think the what Cops has said is he will go back. This is why he's not starting. And it has nothing to do with his form. He ends starting because Cops knows he's going back. But I think that Cheltenham know that Archer may be coming back at the end of January for the rest of the season. What do you think, Chris?
I mean, that is a scenario that you don't see very often. I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy or whatever, but
just a Nancy.
Just a Nancy, yeah. It's a situation that is very rare. And I would be surprised by. However, what I will say, and I have said this many, many, many times on here, is that Archer is nowhere near Luton's first team. And I think that's still the case, even though he's scored a couple of goals for us. So, I mean, would it be a good thing for the player? Probably. I think he's more likely to go up a level out on loan, and we'll bring a new player in. I think that's the most likely.
Yeah, they quite possibly. I said, but when you listen to
it, I think he'll probably come back to you for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
Luton will have a proper look at him in pre-season, and then evaluate whether they wanted to try in League One on loan to a lesser side.
Yeah, I think you're right, Sean. I think that's what I've taken from it from the last 2 press conferences.
Can I get a copy of you saying that? You think I'm right?
It's recorded, mate. Unless I edit it out.
Well, Dan said it. Let's be honest.
No, that's exactly my feeling. Like I said, listen to the press conferences over the last couple. He's been asked about Archer, and he's basically said the same thing. Like, I think he's going to go back, but maybe something can happen toward the end. So I think there's what you've just said, and is being echoed from Luton, is let us have him back for a bit in January. We'll look at him, and then you can have him back. He might go in January. He might go back and start, absolutely rip it up, and then Luton go, no, we'll keep him here. But it might be just that Jack Wiltshire wants to have a look at him. But
my opinion is I don't think he'll come back.
Yeah, you could be right, Chris, and we'll see what happens. He did go on to say, we'll basically only sign players that will go into the first team and improve us, rather than signing loads of players. He said we will be offered loads of players and we need to stay strong. What do you think he means by that, Chris?
Exactly what he says. We'll be offered loads of players, but we have to take the right ones.
But what do you mean? What do you think he means by we have to be strong, not panicking?
So I think that might be a nod at the recruitment at the start of the season, where we probably just took anything that we were offered, because we were potentially struggling for players. And I think what he means is we need to pick the right ones rather than the numbers.
No,
quality over quantity.
Also, agents know that you've probably got a bit of money now.
Yeah,
they'll be trying to throw you anybody, and you've got to just not get carried away.
I mean, I can see 6 going out minimum, and probably 3 or 4 coming in, depending on if we keep the players we want to keep.
But I think what Cots is saying is basically that, like, we'll be offered, and like Sean just said, he goes, people know we've got money now, so that people will be going knocking on doors. My player's not getting a game, I can get you to him for such and such. But just have a listen to this, and I'm going to read a message from Matt Adders on Twitter, which was interested, and let me just remind everybody that a couple of these players a couple of months ago, there were some fans screaming, saying they should have been in the Cheltenham first team. Right. Bakari, now at Gateshead, made a horrendous mistake. I don't know if anybody's seen that.
Yeah, I saw it.
On there. So Agent Bakari, they're calling him now, against Carlisle. So Bakari at Gateshead. Harry Pal is now at Bath. Now, Harry Pal's a little bit different. He wanted to go part-time. He had offers from IREP. Leanne Gall, free agent. Scott Bennett, nowhere near the first team. Harrison Sona, nowhere to be seen. Liam Dolson, now at Maidenhead. Diang, playing in the National League. Manny Norquette, Stamford Town. Levi Lang, Cavalry FC in Canada. Ryan Ains, Brackley.
Ryan Ains is a different one as well.
He did,
because he's got his own business, so I can see why.
I don't think
he
he come on Boxing Day.
Did he not?
I don't think so.
But yeah, he's a bit in the Harry Pal thing. He turned down full-time football to go part-time because of a business opportunity. Lewis Payne, Morecambe, we signed some absolute, and I mean, I'm not going to say it is. We signed some absolute garbage, and that's what Matt Adders put. We've some garbage. But your Sonas and your Bakaris, some of our fans were saying, like, Michael Flynn was wrong for not playing him. They didn't play him.
Look, I was actually one of those in Sona's corner because I like him. Just as I like what he can do on the ball. I don't like what he does off the ball. But on the ball, he's very good, and he's got a very, very good range of passing. But is he good enough for League Two? Probably not, unfortunately for him. But we have signed a lot of players and a lot of not very good players, and that is
or recruitment.
I don't really want to say it because, I don't want us to get in trouble, but it's Gary Johnson.
Yeah.
Gary Johnson always signs loads of players. Absolutely loads
but a lot
of
of
players.
them weren't they signed with the old board? So your budget was quite
all of them were the old board, yes.
Yeah.
So they're budget players, don't get me wrong, but there's so many of them, and that is a Gary Johnson thing. He signs so many players. He always has. Every year, when Gary Johnson was in charge, every year there were 10 minimum coming in.
There's always a mass turnover with Gary Johnson, and I think with Gary Johnson, I think he likes to sign a lot of young players in the hope he's gonna get a Moisa, and we can sell him on. But we've just on Sona is Sia Jacob Maddox. Very, very good technically. You had Maddox at Forest Green, Sean, didn't you?
What's that? Sorry,
Jacob Maddox. You had him at Forest Green.
Yeah, he didn't really cut it for us there.
But technically, very good player. But as a whole, as a footballer, if you had the video watching Cheltenham against Cardiff, and I know we're talking Cardiff City League One, but they rested a few players. But you look at Cardiff on that night with Sona playing in the centre of midfield. It was just you could have walked with the ball, and they was just going like that. He's not very good on the ball, but brilliant on it. But I think that's what Cots is saying, is that we got to get the recruitment right now, not stay strong, not because there's some player who's known in the Football League and going, oh yeah, we'll take him. We've got to be right for the team. He says, I'm really pleased for the supporters at my club. I've got them, they're smiling, which is great. It's absolutely brilliant. And he's got us smiling, hasn't he, Chris?
Oh, 100%. From day one as well, by the way. It's been an absolute, and Dave himself said this last week, the turnaround that's happened at this club is almost miraculous.
He's
It's
undoubtedly
such
been
a difference
incredible
with the
job,
same. Largely, he's only added 3 players.
Yeah, and the fact he's done it with a team where, and I stuck up at Michael Flynn. He's done it with a team where he is on his last press conference before he was sacked said it's the worst bunch of players I've ever worked with.
Worst bunch of players he's ever had. Yeah.
So sometimes it does come down to how they're coached and managed, and they're humans at the end of the day. Another positive on the day, Chris. Almost 5,000 home fans. It was 4,932 to be exact. With just 5,600 on the gate. If Shrewsbury would have sold their allocation, we'd have had a 6,000 crowd, which is, again, it just goes to show the potential we got. And Sean said this a few times. He said he looks at Cheltenham and sees Mansfield. Maybe Cheltenham should be getting like sort of the attendances, because Mansfield were getting like 3,500 at one point, and now they're getting 6,000-7,000 regular.
Yeah, and I mean, I touched upon that when we had our interview with
as well, aren't they?
Say it again, mate.
I think like the town sizes, they're probably about the same as well, aren't they?
Quite similar, yeah. And I touched upon it with our interview with Bloxham about how do we get more fans through the gates, because there is so much more we could be doing. There's absolutely nothing in the town centre. There's absolutely nothing around the place. You wouldn't know that Cheltenham Town Football Club existed if you weren't a supporter already.
Yeah, I'm a bit on the fence of that, and I get what you're saying, because a lot of other people say it as well. But 5,000 home fans turned up Saturday, and
that's quality. That's quality, and that's a case of number one, availability. It's Boxing Day, so everyone's free on Boxing Day unless you're with the family, so automatically the attendance will go up, because it's something that mums or dads can do with their kids. Really. Yeah, every team's attendance should be up on Boxing Day.
Steve Cottrell touches on that. He says, it's great. He goes, but obviously, as a lot of people in Cheltenham tend to move out of Cheltenham because they go off and work. And he said, so people are back home and with the family on Boxing Day. So attendances do go up, but
it's about keeping the ones that you can keep.
Yeah,
that's what we need to do.
They would have been.
Those people that live away, you're not going to keep them as regular fans, but the ones you can keep, you want to try and keep them.
Yeah, and the club are trying to help that as well by, and they're not giving the away fans a corner now. Like Swindon haven't got it, Leicester haven't got it, so only giving them 1,100 beyond the goal, or haven't given them the 1,600 because they know the seats. So they would have seen that yesterday on Boxing Day, and they would have gone, I really enjoyed that. So, a few will come back and
let's hope so.
The last season we finished on an average of, I think it was 4,000 home fans, which was really, really good. But the next thing is we got to get those 5,000 regular.
Yeah, we need to, before we get a new main stand, which is the big one, we need the attendance to go up.
Or hold it.
Show that we can fill it.
Yeah.
Well, not fill it, but make it worthwhile.
Absolutely. And just finally, so that's 1 defeat in 6, and unbeaten in the last 4. And as we said, it's remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've got no. There aren't any more words that I can say to describe how good the turnaround has been.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially the fact that we're keeping clean sheets.
We haven't for the last couple.
Saturday.
Brilliant. Thanks for that, Chris.
No worries. By the way, we were going to touch upon transfers. I just want to say what I think that we're going to be looking for.
Yeah, go on.
I think we'll be looking for a centre back. I think we'll be looking for a winger. I think we'll be looking for a central midfielder, and I think we'll be looking for a striker.
I agree with all that apart from the centre half. I think
we're going to see a couple of departures in the centre half department. Mazionis and I think Bennett might go. So I think we'll be looking for one extra in there. Maybe a left back, because we 100%. Can put Tompkinson in there. Sorry, I meant to say left back within that. So I think we'll have 4 or 5 in and about 6 or 7 or 8 out.
I don't disagree. And just to, I forgot to say, just to quickly touch on what Sean said, if we lost all those 3, that would be massive. But I think Cheltenham, ignoring Archer for now, because Archer's been out of the team on this resurgent. I think if we lost Delican and Hutchinson, it could really affect us. But I think if we can afford to lose one, and I'll be honest with you, if we was going to lose one, I'd rather it be a Delican. And that seems crazy, but a Delican is a moment player. But Hutchinson makes us tick. He's like he's that cog in the way he makes us tick and play football. He controls it. I'd rather not lose any of them, but let's see. But again, thanks for that, Chris.
Anytime, my friend.
Let's go over to Gloucester City. And Dave,
I don't want to talk about it.
where do we start?
Referee talk is banned.
I put the referee bit towards the end, Dave, so we can at least get some sort of feel of how the game went before we just start talking about how bad the referee was. And I will say it now. I agree. I've seen everything you put on, and I agree. It looks an absolute shambles.
He just totally lost control. It's
Before we go into the game, Dave, give us your thoughts on the game.
disappointing. I said before the game that in my heart of hearts, I've kind of given up. Had given up. I definitely have now, personally. Although Daff will keep going into the bitter end, but I don't think we'll catch Walton and Hersham. So they had quite a tough game yesterday on paper, as did Farnham. I would have preferred Farnham to drop points than Walton, because I think second is vital if we don't catch Walton, which I don't think we will. And Farnham lost. So winning would have been great. It would have put a bit of breathing space for second. But the fact that we didn't, it's excellent that Farnham lost as well, because we've kept that little gap. We've still got a little buffer. And even if they win their games in hand, which is no given, then we're still second. So ultimately disappointed with a result, but going to a team that's, let's be honest, not a particularly good team, down the bottom, like 4 points off relegation, with a new manager on a pudding of a pitch. It's the sort of game we've got written. We've got slip up in us in games like that, compared to playing decent teams on good pitches who want to play football. And we did. We slipped up. We got beat. But just go again next week, don't you?
Yeah, no, 100%. So let's go into the game. 5 minutes into the game, Taunton take the lead with an header at the back post. How disappointing was that for a start, Dave?
Yeah. It's a bit scrappy. Ball played across the box. Got a little deflection and then just ended up in the back of the net. It was disappointing, but that early, I wasn't overly concerned. I still thought there was plenty of the game left. With by far the better side with the better players, and I felt confident we'd come back and put it right. But
those better players have got to stay on the pitch, Dave.
Exactly that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One thing I noticed, Dave, in the opening stages, that Ellis Watts was heavily involved in everything.
He was playing well. We're going to have to do without him for 3 games now. We'll get to that later.
And obviously, you go 1-0 down after 5 minutes, but 9 minutes later, it gets even worse. When Marcus Day gets sent off, it appeared like a push on the arm, but their player owner said, "I've seen it back, Dave."
Yeah, I've watched it over and over. The guy is like a boxer's when they're sort of like holding on to each other. The guy just trapped Marcus Day's wrist under his armpit and clamped it there. He couldn't get away, and he was just pulling it, and he's just pushed out. Literally, just pushed him, not overly hard.
Whereabouts was it on the pitch?
Pardon?
Whereabouts was that on the pitch?
Halfway line at the side, right in front of Gary Johnson's dugout. So they all went bananas. Referee was right there, literally.
Yeah, but even like the fourth official and that must have saw it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a not particularly aggressive push to the upper arm, and the guy just went down, holding his face, rolling round and round, pretending he.
That's what I mean. He must have saw that he pushed him in the arm and not the face.
That gets rescinded, surely, Dave.
Yeah,
you'd hope so, but again,
especially with you posted that in our chat.
Yeah.
And And with that angle, there's no way that doesn't get rescinded. No
I hope
way.
so. I hope so.
Sean was having you on toast. He even messaged me and said, "I'm winding him. I've got him a good in here." And for somebody who doesn't play, Dave,
get too wound up really. It's
What I will say though, and I said this in the chat as well, he does give the ref a decision to make.
That. Yeah, you can't deny that. I posted
He does, but I think there's
on the non-league Facebook group, and it's got loads and loads of comments. Probably 80% of them saying cheat, never a red card, but the other 20% are saying you give the referee a decision to make if you.
You do, but when it's that obvious, I don't think you.
Face, aren't you? So, I mean, he literally just pushed his shoulder. If I get bumped into that harder in bloody Tesco's, and you don't go down rolling, holding your face. But
Dave, bins do that to you, mate. Bins do worse to you than that.
Yeah, fair play to the player though. He got man of the match. He seems quite proud of himself on Twitter. So
Dave, please, next time you go into Tesco and get bumped, can you go down holding your face?
I might do, just for the crack. I'll get my missus to video it.
make sure it's recorded so we can put it on. We can edit it into the pod.
But he got the result he wanted, didn't he? He cheated and got our player sent off, and then we're down to 10 men for like 76 minutes, and that made things a lot more difficult. But we just looked. A couple of neutrals put on Facebook as well that they watched the game, and unless you actually counted the players, you'd have assumed that we had 11 and they had 10 because we just
Just a quick question, Dave.
All over the pitch, created more possession, created more chances, and but it wasn't to be.
Just a quick one. At Southern Premier level, do they have a fourth official?
I think sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I don't know if there was one yesterday.
I was going to say,
I just said that. I didn't realise they didn't have them.
Yeah, when we had the red card rescinded earlier in the season, that was just on video. So,
I was saying, because if there was a fourth official who's right in front of the dugout, then surely your fourth official should be going, that's not a red card.
When the player got back up and the red card came out, the player was laughing. Gary Johnson was walked right over to the technical area, laughing his head off, holding his stomach. They played us and it worked. The ref fell for it. So who's the fool, really?
Yeah. In the 22nd minute, you could have been 2-0 down. They could have doubled their lead. Thompson had to make a really good save.
Yeah, it was a good save.
They
looked quite dangerous on the break. We had most of the possession, most of the ball, but when you've got 10 men, they've always got the overlap, haven't they? The overload if when they do get the ball and move it forward quickly. But I didn't feel we were going to concede again, and I felt we would equalise, and which we duly did.
Yeah, obviously the first half, apart from the red card and them taking an early lead, it seemed like everything was kept for the second half. So we'll go on to the second half. But City nearly level straight away after the break when Spence chance again saved well by Phillips. So City, you said down to 10 men, you come out on the front foot and
very much so. Yeah, you wouldn't have. I almost forgot we had 10 men because it looked like we were really coming out to win, get a level and then win the game. We were pushing forward, playing some nice stuff, passing the ball about and creating chances. But
yeah, I thought that, like I've got it obviously in my notes when I was analysing the game. I thought, but we seen when we come to watch the 8-10 game when City went in at 10 men that you was still on top.
It was a bit like, I think if anything, we were probably more dominant. That the 8-10 game, I felt we didn't really look like scoring again, but we didn't look in danger of conceding. Whereas in this game, we just were pushing forward all the time and looked like we were going to get the equaliser, which we did.
We did, yeah. In the 55th minute, City finally get the goal back. They being on top. Richard Everton played through and he smashes the ball home.
Yeah, a bit embarrassing really because I was behind the goal, like in a crowd of people, and when it first went in, I initially thought it was Simpson because it was such a great finish. He absolutely battered it and off the inside of the crossbar, and Ben Richards Everton, great finish. He's a good player, but so 1-1, and then I felt the game was there for the taking.
I was going to say that. City continued to be on top after that, didn't they? And did you think that the goal was coming? Do you think it was
coming? I really did. Yeah, I thought we were gonna get it. But...
Yeah. So obviously City had a few half chances, but Thompson makes another vital save 5 minutes from time. You know, that would have been a dagger. I know it comes, but I would have been a dagger in the art. You know, playing so well with 10 men.
Would have been a slightly earlier dagger, yes.
And then this is where all the excitement starts, Dave. 88th minute, Taunton get a penalty. Was it a penalty?
No idea. I've not seen the replay. It's been described as quite a bit soft, bit harsh, but I was down the other end, couldn't see a thing.
But they take the penalty, hits a post, comes back out to the taker.
Yeah,
he stops zone.
Yeah,
which again,
players went nuts immediately. Immediately, the load of fans were going mad, saying, you know, he's comes back off the post. You can't, you know, nobody else has touched the ball. He scored. John Thompson says he got a touch on it onto the post, so no issue with that. The players were wrong. Must have been quite slight touch, but
so your keeper's come in and said he's got a touch onto it.
Yeah.
But that's fair enough. And yeah.
Referee didn't get that right, and it was a good spot by all accounts, because it certainly all the players missed it. The players thought it had come straight back into play, and he'd finished it. So the players are going up to the referee saying he's nobody else has touched it. The referee's waving players away, and Ellis Watts, who he hadn't got an ounce of aggression in his game. He's just such a nice, gentle guy. He's a charismatic flair player, and he's walked up to the referee, and the referee's waving his arms around to say get away, and their arms touch. The referee's the one moving his arms around. Ellis Watts has got his arms out like that. I've got a video of it. You can see it. The referee's arm hits Ellis Watts' arm, and then he just gets a straight red out and gives him a straight red.
Was it a straight red, was it?
Straight red, yeah.
Oh dear. Yeah, obviously you explained that. Then I was about to give it it's a funny rule, to be fair, because not everybody knows it. And even me, I like to know that I like to think I know a lot about football. You know,
I was confused. I was going what the hell's going on to people next to me?
We had it 2 years ago at Wimbledon in the FA Cup. Aidan Keener stepped up, took a penalty, hits a post, comes back to him, and he taps it home, and then the referee disallowed it. And I was going absolutely mad, and this bloke just comes in, taps me on the shoulder, and goes, "The keeper didn't touch it. You can't touch it again if it comes off the post." And even myself,
you going absolutely mad. That doesn't sound a bit like you, Dan.
It's a bit embarrassing when you life revolves around football, and then such a fundamental law that you're unaware of. But I've got to admit, my hands up. I was in exactly the same position.
Yeah, and I did feel embarrassed because I was going absolutely mad, and he just tapped me on the shoulder. He went, "Keeper didn't touch it." He said, "So he can't touch it." I was right. I was getting my phone out and I was Googling it. I was like, "Oh, you're right. I didn't know." So if Thompson's come in and been out his hands up, I bet Ellis Watts would probably saying, "You could have bloody told me before."
Exactly. Yeah, that would have helped if he'd have got a good hand.
To be fair, if you go on the Votes Twitter, sorry, mate. If you go on the Votes Twitter, I think they've got all the replays that you're going on about.
Yeah.
The Gloucester, the vote, or whatever it is.
I was getting them pinged to me. I think Daffs needed somebody to have a rant out without doing it. So I was getting messages going, look at this one, and all the videos pinging up on my phone.
What did the referee call Wildig then?
Apparently Daff said the referee called Aaron Wildig during the course of the game and effing see you next Tuesday. And then told numerous of our players to F off during the game. It's just bizarre behaviour from a referee when directing the F word or the C word at a player during a game is supposed to be a straight red card for foul and abusive language, but the referee was doing it all game. It's utterly bizarre. But
it didn't end there, Dave. In the 94th minute, Pinchard was sent off too. What was that for?
I put the video on our chat. It's
that looks ridiculous as well to me. That don't look like a second yellow. I don't know.
Well, no, it's not a yellow card.
He throws himself to the floor.
Just got really excited and was really, really enjoying the limelight. So he just thought, "Hey, that's good." Pinch has already had a yellow. Was it a foul even? I don't know. It was just the ball was bouncing.
I don't think it was.
Together. I wouldn't say it's even a foul, but yeah,
he's backed into him, and they've sort of gone together, and the bloke's just flung himself down. It looks just like nothing.
We can't appeal a second yellow. It's a one game ban for Pinchy. So,
but it seems to say we said the same last week, didn't we? When Bunker got sent off at Yeovil, and like I said, it's giving the referee a decision, but when you look at the second yellow card, it's just thinking, well, if you're sending
You
players
can't
off
not
that,
do things like that. It's football, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
To be
players
fair,
are
I
gonna
still
come
haven't seen that
together.
one back. But even Robbie said that it was a second yellow. So again, I don't know.
like I said, you can see why he was given, because you're giving the referee a decision. But because obviously I watched it on telly, when you watch it, I just think that if you're giving people second yellow cards to send somebody off, because I thought the rules always used to be for a second yellow card for a sending off, it usually has to be worse than the first offence. So I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, well, if you're sending players off for that, then
I can't remember what Pinchard's first yellow card was for, to be honest.
unless it's
Be
persistent
interesting to
bowling,
see.
of course. But
Yeah.
it did look soft.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
that's
you can't really argue that the second two red cards affected the result on the grounds they'd gone 2-1 up in the 88th minute before the second red card, but it just summed up the referee's performance.
Wasn't there another red card as well?
No.
Did they have someone sent off?
no, just a 3, wasn't it?
I must have imagined that.
So obviously disappointing, Dave. But that's 6 red cards this season for City, and despite the referee's performance yesterday, it's got to be concerning.
Well, to be honest, it should be, but for me, it's not, because it's not like we've got loads of players back chatting and flying into horrific tackles. King's second yellow at Yate, I think that was probably a bit reckless. But apart from that one, I can't think of any of our red cards that.
Ed Williams got overturned, didn't it?
Yeah, that got overturned. I mean, it's football. It's a contact game. If you can't shout, I can't create. We've had a few players on the forum saying, we've got to get our discipline sorted out. I just genuinely don't believe we've got a discipline problem. I just think we've been really unlucky with some bizarre decisions in a few games.
I agree. I agree with what like you said. People have come on the forum and said, because obviously I'm just looking. Let's take like 3 of them. It was yesterday, but you still had six red cards. Now they are for silly things, but surely, and I'm probably certain. I've listened to Daff a lot, and he talks a lot of sense, and I enjoy listening to him. But I'm sure Daff said this to him, but they need to use their heads, because if the officiating is that poor, and you're being booked.
You can't give them the opportunity, can you? But when you're doing something like literally, like the ref's arm brushes your arm when you're stood by him, I don't really see what you can do to. I mean, okay, don't approach him, but
not go there in the first place. That's the answer
true,
to that.
You're talking in the penalty area. It wasn't like he raced 30 yards to confront him. They were stood next to each other anyway.
That one I get. To be fair, I get. You're protesting because obviously if they didn't see it, Thompson touch the ball, your players are going to be like, oh bloody hell, ref, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And as much as it wasn't a red, it's probably going to get overturned.
I don't know if that one will, to be honest.
Pushing, not that one. The one pushing him on the arm.
You'd hope Marcus Days
with the poor officiating, doing that, like Chris said at the beginning, you're giving him that decision to make.
What I will say, Dan, also, we've seen how poor the officiating is in League 2. Just imagine how bad it is down there.
Yeah.
And I mean that with all respect, Dave.
Yeah.
Accepted, yeah. I mean, if you had a really good ref in our division, they'd soon be fast-tracked and they'd be reffing at your level. So it does speak. But I don't want to be criticising refs wholesale. I very, very rarely do.
It's an hard thing to do.
Because it's a job I would not want to do for £1 million a game. I think but when you've got, I'll put up with refs making mistakes. We all make mistakes. Players make mistakes. It's just when they arrive with that wanting to make it all about them that really grates with me, and that was the case.
Speaking about refs, this is something I wanted to mention. I think that there's a former professional footballer that is now a referee, affiliated with the Gloucestershire FA. I can't remember his name. Is it Eric Edge or something like that? But he posts loads of videos on YouTube. And shows his assessments and things like that. And it really does show you what a referee's got to go through in order to become professional, then, if you will, or to get up the leagues. And I think he's reffing at, I think, your level, or maybe one level below you, Gloucester. Sorry?
Any relation to Jamie Edge?
I don't. It might even be Jamie Edge. I think his surname is Edge. But and I'm pretty sure it's Eric. But yeah, no. I wanted to bring that up because that does give any listeners. I'm not promoting. He hasn't paid me to say this or anything like that. But if any listeners want to have a look at kind of the what refs go through in assessments and things like that, and he actively rates his own performance and
put a link
says,
on our
"Yeah, I will," because that is really interesting. And I've criticised a few referees on this pod already, but for good reason. But that does give you a good insight as to what referees go through and what referees do.
It is a thankless task that we wouldn't be able to watch our teams play if people weren't willing to do it.
Of course you wouldn't.
I'm very loath to generally criticise referees, but yesterday he was as bad as I've ever seen.
Well, it's funny you say that because I forgot. I did actually forget to say it that on Boxing Day after the game, Richard Ely, the referee for the Cheltenham game, actually had a round of applause as he was walking off the pitch because for a change, he did give some soft decisions, but it was both sides. He was fair. And he was, it's very rare that a referee gets a round of applause. And I think the guy sat next to me went, I think he thought they was being a bit sarcastic because you could tell he kept flicking his eyes up and he didn't know where to put himself. But he was generally giving him a round of applause because he officiated the game really well.
You didn't really notice him, and that is what I consider a good refereeing performance.
Exactly that.
Unless they're given reason to be noticed. If there's a blatant red card, you're going to notice the ref because he's given a red card. But if you don't notice a referee in a game, he's had a good game.
But all you say is if it's a blatant red card, they say the referee got that right. But when it's like the referee whistle happy and like Sean said, like the
center of attention,
the penalty at Brackley, which wasn't given, and and not cracking down on time wasting. Right? That's when you start looking at poor referees controlling the game, kind of thing. But let's go on to Daft's thoughts, which is very interesting. And I said to my partner, actually, I said partners, my wife now.
She your partner this week?
She's your wife again now. I said to Charlie,
your wife, you've got a partner.
Got many. I said to Charlie, I said, so when I listen to Daft, I keep saying that he comes across really well. He knows his football. But as like Robbie Savage on Saturday, you can tell that everything's been said about the game. He was peeved with it, and some of his thoughts were
he was fuming.
The only difference is Daft doesn't talk for 3 hours to say one thing.
No, he's got more succinct without a shadow of a doubt.
But he says he started off because I've never experienced anything like it. He said about the swearing and players being told to F off, and he said it because it just literally he said I'm baffled because in all my years of football,
he just seemed totally bemused by it.
And you can tell. You could tell as well, Dave, can you, that he wanted to have a pop, but he was like, I don't want the fine. I don't want to sit in the stands for the next 3 games. He confirmed Marcus push in the arm, and we've seen that now. So he said how he gets sent off is beyond me. Said he usually doesn't come out and say things because of obviously the repercussions, but he said it was a disgrace. He said stuff on the sidelines where people haven't seen swearing at our players, people approaching our technical area. I think that's where you said Gary Johnson was coming across. Now, I've said to you guys before, and you guys have sat there and gone, this guy got you promoted back to the Football League at the first attempt, and this is why people didn't take to Gary Johnson. He's not a very nice man.
Not a nice person.
Yeah, and I think you've seen that yesterday, Dave.
Yeah.
He said thought the players were outstanding, which obviously playing pretty much the whole game with 10 men, getting back into the game. Thought City were by far the better team, and you said that, Dave, that you would have thought they had the 10 men.
It doesn't matter, does it? We got no points and they got 3. So,
but sometimes you've got to take the positives on a real negative day. The positive, if you'd have gone in, conceded 5 or 6 goals, but your players are still showing that they're fighting and they want to, narrow to
Gosport, who were up there challenging yesterday, they had a man sent off almost the same minute as us against Havant Warlouville, and they ended up getting done 4 or 5. So yeah, you can look at it that way.
Yeah.
we made a good fist of it with 10 men, and we really should have.
And you've done it against Yates.
Yesterday.
So it shows there's fight in the team, sometimes a bit too much fight. Results are red. And then he says he doesn't know what the other red card was for, but I'm sure obviously now he's seen some of the videos, which should make him, I'm sure it'd make him his tea a bit more bitter. He was very angry, Dave, wasn't he?
He was fumming.
And he just goes on to say that they'll be looking into the formalities about to make the complaint to the league. Because he said he says the same as every manager. You don't want to berate the referees and all, but like I said, he was just gobsmacked. And the word he finished on, he goes, "I'm just speechless." Which he was. And then we talked about the Gary Johnson antics. It's not surprising at all. But
really, really want Taunton to go down there. They're 4 points above the drop, and I'm going to be looking at the results every week. And I now support in this division Gloucester City and whoever's playing Taunton.
Penultimate game Gloucester need at Walton. Penultimate game Gloucester need Walton and Hersham to lose, but Dave's there going, come on, beat them, send them down.
Yeah.
Just a quick one on January, Dave. I know you can sign players before January, but is there anything you think Gloucester need to make sure they cement that second place?
No, I don't think we'll do a lot, to be honest. I can't see much movement.
Because you need a miracle now, don't you?
Here comes 16 in, 16 out.
Yeah. I can't see anybody going that we want to go. I mean, if somebody comes in for the likes of Ellis Watts or Pinchy or somebody, and it's full-time football, not a lot you can do about it, is there? But hopefully that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And if nobody goes out, I can't see anybody really coming in. You never know, do you? But I mean, with the exception, obviously, of KP, Kieran Phillips is been on loan at Larkhall and been scoring pretty freely for them. So if he comes back full of confidence, he'll be like a new signing, especially for the trophy, because obviously Kane Simpson's cup tied. So it'll be good to have him available in the trophy.
And do you think it's definitely now? Do you think, even though we said about Robbie Savage making the comments saying about the league's gone, do you think it's definitely now just securing that second spot with a lot of games to go?
You can never say that, but it's 11 points now, 11-point gap. And in any sort of other situation, you'd think it unlikely. But when that team who's 11 points clear is Walton and Hersham, who just have been relentless winning, they might lose the odd one, but I just can't see him losing the 4 games more than us for us to catch them. Albeit we've got to play them twice. So I mean, if we could draw her away or beat them away and then win, we can reduce it. Maybe they've only got to slip up a couple of times. Who knows? But Daff is very much of the opinion that don't worry about other people, just concentrate on ourselves.
And see where it takes you.
We can't affect what other people do, which is true. But there again, I can't affect what we do either. So I said to him, I can't help looking at other results because.
It's the joys of football, isn't it?
Indeed, it is.
Brilliant. Thank you, David. That is Gloucester City. Let's go to scores on the doors. But before we do go to scores on the doors with Sean, I will recite a conversation this time last week when Daniel Hopkins went, I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Brackley. And Sean replied, it doesn't bother me, Dan, that you've gone for Brackley to win, because at least I'm going to catch you up in the prediction league next week. Sean, over to you.
Next up is Talk of the County's Prediction League and Scores on the Doors by Sean Baker.
Sorry, yeah. Yeah, no, I was about to highlight that. So, through gritted teeth.
Of course you were, Sean. Of course you were, mate.
No, I was just getting the things up. So I was going to say, Dan was the only one that went for a Brackley win. But through gritted teeth.
One, Sean. Malibus is going to be literally going like this with his fingers, ready to.
Well, as long as I get the points right, I think Mal will leave me alone.
He sticks up for me on here. I'd be lagging behind even more if he hadn't.
Dan's opened up a little bit of a. Dan's opened up a little bit of a gap now because of that from me. So you got 2 points, Dan.
Thank you.
Because you got Cheltenham to beat Shrewsbury and Brackley to beat FGR. Dave, you got the correct score on the Cheltenham v Shrewsbury, so you got 3 points for that, and nothing else. Chris, you got a point for Cheltenham and Shrewsbury, and nothing else, and I got a point for Cheltenham and Shrewsbury, but nothing else. So as the table currently stands, Dan's opened up a little bit of a gap now. Dan's opened up a bit of a gap. He's on 37. I'm on 35. Dave's on 32. And Chris is languishing at the bottom on 28.
Oh, Chris.
There was way too much of a delay for the laugh there, Dan.
I was waiting for the laughter, and he didn't. There ain't a 6-7 edit on there, is there?
So, no, brilliant. Thank you, Sean. So there's a lot of, like you say, you get one correct score like Dave does, it's going to propel you. There's a long way to go. But it's a bit of fun. But I think Mally lay off you to this week, Sean, because you've got it all right.
Hopefully, I think I got his spot on this week. I'm sure he'll let me know if I haven't.
That's what he thrives for, Mal, is to make sure he pleases you. Brilliant. So let's go to the games we've got coming up. So next week, it's going to be a really busy one. Cheltenham will be covering 3 Cheltenham games, 2 Forest Green and 1 Gloucester City. So yeah,
Dave's going to have a blast next week.
Times in 1 week.
We'll have to speak about. Well, we Cheltenham play tomorrow night, Swindon. They play New Year's Day against Crewe, and then on the Sunday. So we're going to record later, aren't we? Because Cheltenham play at 12 o'clock against Crawley at home.
Can't we record before it so we can put that on next week?
We'd have to record like 5 o'clock in the morning.
That's all right.
For anything like me and Chris only rolled out of bed about half hour before we come on here. With the Christmas late nights. But anyway, on to Cheltenham. So Cheltenham.
Can I just clarify? You rolled out of bed together?
But if you want to keep that in your head, Dave, and
that's normally what Cheltenham do. Dave.
I'll just clarify. I'm not his partner.
Right, sure.
No, he is my partner.
Charlie.
Anyway, on to Cheltenham. Cheltenham, I've got a quick turnaround, and we played Swindon on the 9th of December. We're playing them at home. So head to head, there's been 18. Cheltenham have won 9 times. Swindon have won 3, and there's been 6 draws. You better get your pen and paper ready for this one, Sean, because there's a lot to write down.
Yeah, I got it. It's all ready.
Your thoughts and your prediction.
Look, Swindon are 3rd in the league, so it's going to be a tough game. I really don't know. I don't think we're going to win all 3 of the games. So I'm going to put this one as a draw, 1-1.
Dave?
I'll go 2-1 Swindon.
Sean?
Do you know what? It's funny. I sort of mirror what Chris just said there. And last time Mal gave me a roasting, so I went for a Swindon win. So I've gone for a 2-2 draw. I don't think you're going to win all 3, but I think you're going to win the next 2. So I think you'll drop points in this one.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go for, and even though our record against Swindon is outstanding, like I said, 18 times, we've won 9 of them. We've only ever lost 3 times, and one of them was last season. But I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Swindon. I think all runs come to an end, and I think it might be this one. So, on the 1st of December, Cheltenham play Crewe Alexandra away. Cheltenham and Crewe have played each other a staggering 28 times. Cheltenham have won 11, Crewe have won 10, and there's been 7 draws. Chris, your thoughts and your predictions?
Crewe are a side that I think that we are quite similar to in terms of quality. I think we're going to win 3-2.
Okay. Dave?
I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Sean?
This one, I went for 1-0 Cheltenham win. Crewe, I know, are up there, but obviously you're one of the most informed teams at the moment, aren't you? So I just fancy you to do like a smash and grab cot special.
Okay. I'm going to go. I think we won 3-2 there last season. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win, Cheltenham. So I've got a 2-1 loss at home to Swindon. I've got a 2-1 win away at Crewe.
What did Dave and Chris go for?
I went 1-1.
I went 3-2 Cheltenham.
Okay, sweet. 2-1-1, 3-2-1-1.
Yeah. And then on to Crawley on the 4th of January, which is a 12 o'clock kickoff because of Sky. Head-to-head has been 13. Cheltenham 6, Crawley 6, and 1 draw. So it's pretty bang smack down the middle. Last time out, obviously, we lost 2-0 there in September. Can't believe that was September. So, Chris, your thought?
We're a completely different side to what we were in September. And I fancy us to batter them 3-0.
Dave?
3-1 Cheltenham. You're right there, Sean.
Yeah, I don't know if it's recording me. I think my internet's gone funny.
Sean?
You could take my photo then.
No, I was just taking a picture at the top.
What did you go with, Dave?
3-1 Cheltenham.
3-1 Cheltenham. And Chris, what did you say you went with?
3-0.
Sean?
I went 2-0 Cheltenham.
I'm going to go with I'm going to go same as the Shrewsbury result yesterday on Boxing Day. I'm going to go 3-1.
For God's sake, stop copying me. I'm trying to catch you.
I don't think it's good. It'd be 3-1. I don't think it's. I say that bit. It's hard to say that because I don't think Crawley are a bad football inside.
It's a pound in the pot, Dave, by the way.
But I'm going to go with 3-1 as well. Forest Green Rovers. They play Truro City on Tuesday night. They've had a staggering 2 games against each other. And there's 1 Forest Green Rovers win, 1 draw. Last time out was in 2016. Was a FA Trophy away win after a draw at the New Lawn. So obviously that was when there was replays in the FA Trophy. Sean, your thoughts and what do you think the score is going to be?
Well, I'm hoping after Boxing Day that we're going to be up for it. So I've gone for a 4-0 win just because we're ridiculous in attack and sick at defence.
And it's only a matter of time for you to score 5.
Yeah, I was thinking this might be the game, but this would just be the warm-up.
So you've gone 4-0.
Yeah, 4-0 Forest Green.
Dave?
I agree they're going to score 4, but I don't think they'll keep a clean sheet. So I think 4-1.
Chris?
Believe it or not, and it pains me to say this, and it pains me a lot to say this, I think Forest Green are going to win 5-1.
Go on, Chris. I'll let you have that.
The smile on his face is like he's had his favourite Christmas
He's
present.
gone for a 5-1. Of course I'm going to be smiling.
Christmas morning.
I'm going to go with a 3-0 Forest Green. And then is it on the Saturday, Forest Green are at home to Halifax. Head-to-head, they played 17 times. Rovers have won 6. Halifax have won 6. And there's been 5 draws. Last time out, it was a 2-1 win in August away and a 2-1 loss away in March last year. Obviously,
Why does Forest Green play all their games at home? They always seem to be at bloody home.
They play the same, Dave.
Do they?
Yeah, we play the same home and away, mate.
Thanks for clarifying that, chaps.
No worries. Sean, your thoughts and your prediction.
Yeah, I think it'd be a tough game. Obviously, I went up to Halifax, start of the season. We won 2-1. It was quite a hard-fought win. I had to dig in for that one. So, but I've gone for a bit more of a comfortable win this time, so I've gone 3-1.
Okay. Dave?
2-2.
Chris?
Well, I'm going to make up for it now. Forest Green are going to lose 2-1.
that face, Sean was smiling like a Cheshire cat since you said 5-1. He's just dropped.
Yeah,
You bitch.
Black Darth now.
I'm actually going to go with. I'm looking at their 8th in the table. They've got a good shot of the playoffs as a Solihull now, I may add. I'm going to go 1-1. I think it'd be a good win against Truro and a 1-1 draw. On to Gloucester City. They're the only one who's only got one game, which would have been nice if the rest of us only had one game. So Gloucester are at home to in a local derby. Dave, Evesham. Do you expect a good crowd for that one?
Hope so. I don't see any reason why not. Evesham surprised a few people this season. They certainly surprised us at their place. We absolutely played them off the park and drew 1-1, but they've picked up some really good results.
Yeah, they're doing really well. Head-to-heads, there's been 5. City have won 3, Evesham none, and there's been 2 draws. The last time out was a 1-1 away in August and a 7-1 City in a friendly in 2019. How do you see the game, and what's your prediction, Dave?
Obviously, we're going to be missing a few, dependent on red card appeals, but I'd say we're going to be missing Ellis Watts and Pinchy. Hanks, if you can, I reckon we'll win 3-0.
Sean?
Obviously, I'd done mine on the basis that they were going to be missing a couple because of the red cards. And because they're mid-table, I've sort of gone for a 2-1 Evesham win.
Chris?
1-0 Gloucester.
I'm going to go 2-1 Gloucester.
Oh, my prediction looks terrible.
But you thought that about me last week, and you look who's top of the league. By 2 points.
You say 2-1?
I said 2-1 Gloucester, yeah.
Dave said 3-0.
Yeah. I think that's
I'm going to keep mine 2-1, so I might surprise you lot.
We might get no points and we all catch.
Yeah, well, I've done it on the basis of your red cards, mine, so...
Here he is getting his excuses in.
No, otherwise I would have gone for a Gloucester win, but...
We've all done it on the basis of red cards, mate.
Yeah, I know. Well, I said I know what I'm talking about earlier.
Brilliant. I think that's a good place to leave it. Dave, thanks as always.
Pleasure.
Chris, thank you.
Cheers, lads.
Sean, thanks, mate. Follow us on X, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. On a weekend where Cheltenham were shrewd in front of goal, Gloucester concede late and finish the game with 8, and Rovers lose ground on top spot. We'll see you next time.